The sun dipped low over the Nevada desert, painting the sky in shades of gold and fire. The wind whispered through the canyons, carrying with it the scent of sage and dust. But that peaceful evening was shattered by the desperate, heart-wrenching cry of a foal. His mother lay motionless on the rocky ground, her sides rising and falling in labored gasps. And beside her, trembling yet unyielding, stood her baby, a wild Mustang foal who refused to leave her side. Rescuers weren't supposed to be there. They were just passing through, scouting another area, when they heard that cry, so raw, so filled with pain it stopped them in their tracks. One of them, Sarah, clutched her chest and whispered, "That's not just a sound, it's a plea." They rushed over hills and through brush, and then they saw it. A collapsed mare, dusty and bleeding, her left hind leg bent unnaturally, and her foal, chestnut brown with a small white star on his forehead, standing like a silent sentinel. He nudged her face with his muzzle, gently, again and again, each time hoping she'd rise. Sarah stepped forward, slowly. "We need to help her," she said, her voice catching in her throat. But as she inched closer, the foal let out a sharp whinny and positioned himself between Sarah and his mother, stamping his little hooves, eyes wide with terror. "He's protecting her," whispered Miguel, another rescuer. "He thinks we're the danger." For 20 minutes, they stood at a distance, watching the foal as he shielded his mother. The sun continued its descent, casting long shadows, and the temperature began to drop. Every minute mattered. Sarah had an idea. She crouched down, made herself small, and slowly extended her hand. She began to hum, softly, soothingly. A lullaby her own mother used to sing. The foal's ears twitched. He looked at her, puzzled but not afraid. "I know you're scared," Sarah whispered, "but we're here to help. She needs us." Inch by inch, she moved forward. The foal didn't run. He didn't retreat. He just watched, those deep, intelligent eyes filled with confusion and heartbreak. Behind them, Miguel set up a small light and prepared the medical kit. The mare's breathing was shallow now. Blood trickled from her leg, and flies had begun to gather. She didn't have long. Suddenly, the foal walked toward Sarah. Just 3 steps. That was all. But it was everything. Sarah seized the moment. She gently reached into her pouch and pulled out a small apple slice. The foal sniffed it, then, with trembling lips, took it. It was a sign. The team rushed in, not fast enough to scare him, but with urgency. Sarah knelt beside the mare, stroking her mane. "Hey girl, we've got you now. You held on long enough." Miguel examined the leg. "It's fractured. Bad. But if we can stabilize it, maybe we can get her to the sanctuary. We need the sling, now." They worked quickly, attaching padded supports and strapping the mare carefully to a rescue sling. The foal stayed nearby, pacing, crying softly, occasionally nudging her side. As they began to lift the mare, a strange sound echoed through the canyon, a pack of coyotes, howling in the distance. The foal froze. So did Sarah. "We need to hurry," Miguel said. "If they catch her like this." Sarah looked at the foal. "We can't carry him. He's too skittish. We'll have to lead him." She grabbed a soft rope, fashioned into a halter, and gently approached. "Come on, little one. She needs you. Follow me." He looked at her, then at his mother, then back. And slowly, so slowly, he stepped forward. That night, under a sky scattered with stars, the rescuers moved through the desert, one carrying the wounded mare in a sling harness, and one walking ahead, hand outstretched, as the foal followed, each step a miracle. But as they neared the trailer, something happened. The mare let out a pained cry and collapsed again, her body slipping from the harness. Sarah screamed, "Stop!" The foal reared up, eyes wild. He bolted toward her, nuzzling her neck, crying out. And then, the mare stopped breathing. Sarah dropped to her knees. But in the silence that followed, something stirred. The foal let out a single, strong cry, loud, defiant, echoing through the night. To be continued. The air went still. The canyon seemed to hold its breath. The rescuers froze, watching helplessly as the foal nudged his mother over and over, his cries piercing the night. There was no movement. No response. Sarah's hand trembled as she reached for her stethoscope. Miguel helped lower her beside the mare. She pressed the cold metal to the mare's chest. Seconds passed. Then a faint heartbeat. "She's alive," Sarah whispered, barely believing it. "Faint, but she's hanging on." The team sprang into action. They secured her in a reinforced sling with even greater care. The foal stayed close, walking beside her, his little head brushing her mane, encouraging her with every step. By the time they reached the rescue trailer, dawn was breaking. The desert sky turned soft shades of lavender and peach. They gently slid the mare inside, wrapping her leg tightly and setting up in four. The foal refused to be separated, standing watch at the entrance. Hours passed. At the sanctuary, a vet team waited. Dr. Hannah, a specialist in equine trauma, examined the mare. "She's lost a lot of blood. Infection's already setting in. We need to operate immediately." The foal let out a distressed cry as the mare was wheeled away. Sarah knelt beside him. "She's in good hands, little one. You were so brave." They led him to a temporary pen, but he refused food, refused water, just stared in the direction his mother had gone, as if any minute she'd come galloping back. The surgery took over 5 hours. Dr. Hannah emerged, wiping her brow. "We did everything we could. Now it's up to her." For the next 2 days, the foal barely moved. The team tried everything, fresh hay, apples, even bringing in other foals, but he wouldn't respond. He only lifted his head when he heard her name. On the 3rd day, just as the sun began to rise, a soft nicker echoed from the stable. The foal's ears perked. He stood. Slowly, hesitantly, he took a step, then another, and then he ran. He reached the stable door and let out a cry. Inside, the mare was standing, wobbly, weak, but standing. A fresh wrap on her leg, eyes tired but alive. When she saw him, she nickered softly. The reunion was more than anyone could bear without tears. The foal pressed himself against her, and she leaned down, touching his nose with hers. They stayed that way for hours. News of their story spread across the internet. The baby who never gave up, they called him. Donations flooded in. Letters from children. Messages from veterans who saw their own battles in the mare's fight. Love poured in from around the world. But the real miracle was yet to come. Weeks passed. The mare grew stronger. The foal, once so quiet, began to run again, light on his feet, tail high in the wind. And then one morning, something unexpected happened. Sarah entered the pasture to check on them. She opened the gate, and instead of shying away, the foal walked right up to her. He nudged her gently. She smiled. "Hey, buddy, what is it?" He turned, looked toward the wide open hills beyond the sanctuary fence. Sarah understood.
It was time. She spoke with the team.
After long discussions and a health evaluation, they agreed. The mare was strong enough now. And the foal, he was ready. That afternoon, under the watchful gaze of the sanctuary crew, Sarah led them both to the edge of the open range. The gate creaked open. The foal stepped through first, then paused, looking back. He waited. The mare followed, limping slightly but walking tall. Together, they took a few steps, then broke into a gentle trot, then into a full run. The team watched in silence as they disappeared into the horizon, 2 silhouettes against the golden sunset. Miguel wiped his eyes. He brought her back from the edge, and she gave him the courage to fly. Sarah whispered, "That wasn't just a rescue. That was a love story." And in the vast desert where their journey began, 2 wild hearts beat free again, bound not just by blood, but by unbreakable love.